Okay guys, well just wanted to say welcome Kid Detectives. For this next module, we'll be jumping into mysteries. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a dorky little intro. But welcome everybody, welcome back online for the first time, and it's kind of weird. But we are going to be diving into our mystery section, so yay, be excited. You are now training to become Kid Detectives for our last few months of school. This is really cool because we're going to be reading a lot of different type of mysteries. So today we're going to talk about like the different elements that we need to know as far as diving into mysteries. Whoa, slow down there. We don't want to jump into this too quickly. Being a detective and solving mysteries can be a lot of fun. But first, there's a few things that we need to learn. So first off, what is a mystery? What are we talking about here? A mystery is a story or a genre that focuses on solving a crime or an unusual event. Okay, and we have several different mysteries we do. Mysteries are like my favorite books to read because there's that mystery, that secret that you need to solve, and you always think you know what the answer is, and then sometimes you're right, but sometimes you completely blown away. That wasn't even the right answer. So mysteries are my favorite. What type of mysteries do we have in our library at school? We have a bunch of them. We have Nancy Drew. We have Encyclopedia Brown, Scooby-Doo, Jigsaw Jones, A to Z Mysteries. Some of these we might be able to jump into. I know Scooby-Doo is available on Myon. Hopefully we can get back to school. If we can't, these are some things we might go over or try to put together. If not, we're going to be reading 2 other novels, or one other big chapter book, and that has a big mystery for us to solve. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the elements of mystery and the characters. The first character we're going to discuss is the detective, or also known as the sleuth. Okay, it's good to know the word sleuth because we don't commonly say that as far as detectives today, but some of the stuff that you might read in years to come, they're going to say sleuth so that you know that's a detective. Okay, a detective is a person who attempts to solve a mystery by gathering helpful clues and information. Okay, so that's the person that's literally trying to break down every little bit of a clue or evidence and try to figure out what's the mystery, who done it. The next character we're going to discuss is the victim, okay? And the victim can vary a little bit on how they act or who they are. It is someone who is harmed, taken advantage of, or suffers because of a crime or mystery, okay? And it can be something as simple as their bike being stolen, or the video that you're going to watch today, okay, the case of the missing carrot. It's a carrot cake being stolen, you know? So it doesn't have to be something that's extreme, but it's definitely pretty much the problem, okay? The next character is going to be the witness, okay? The witness is someone who saw the crime happen or knows something about it and can provide information, okay? They didn't have to be there per se. So at some point they could have like maybe witnessed it, or they may have just known some information about it. The next character is the suspect or suspects, okay? And the suspects is the people who are believed to have committed or taken part in the crime, the who done it, okay, who did it. I just put a picture of a lineup, okay, that's what's known as a lineup, which is all the Disney the female Disney villains. But basically, those are the people that you go to because there's some reason they're being blamed. They've done stuff in the past, maybe, they look suspicious. So these are the suspects, and these are the people that we would write notes about. So when we do this further, in the chapter book, you'll know to keep down notes for yourself so you can understand who your suspects might be and why. All right, well, moving on from the characters, another element of mystery is the alibi. Okay, say alibi one more time to yourself so you can remember that. Alibi, alibi. Okay, it's used quite often in mysteries, and it's in order to help us understand why a character is no longer a suspect. Okay, a story, so an alibi is a story, excuse, or person that a suspect uses to prove he or she wasn't near the scene of the crime when it happened. Okay, so it's the cover story. So for example, if our little girl here, Sarah, is stealing a cookie, okay, and she didn't want to be in trouble, okay, her alibi might have been, no, mommy, I was over my friend's house, so how could I steal a cookie? Okay, so her alibi is her story of being at her friend's house, but in reality, she's munching on those yummy cookies. Okay, so an alibi is your cover story. All right, and now the next element of mystery is the red herring. Okay, the red herring is a false lead or suspect that is meant to throw the investigator off track. Okay, this is like bad information. So for example, pretty much in almost every Scooby-Doo, there's always that one character that you're like, oh no, that's definitely it. It must be that creepy guy over there, okay? And then what ends up happening, or they sometimes blame it, oh, it must be the ghost. Okay, the ghost is haunting, it's a curse. And then it goes into that there was the owner and he was losing money, so he pretended to be a ghost. Or it's not the creepy guy you thought it was the owner. Okay, so the red herring is that false information where you're told one thing and that way you automatically believe, oh, this must be the bad guy. And then bloop, they turn it around and that's the real guy. All right, and another element of mystery is evidence, okay? Evidence is something that proves a person was involved in a crime, okay? And the difference between evidence and clue, which we're going to talk about clue next, is the evidence helps prove the crime, okay? Prove what happened. So for instance, I put little footsteps in there. So maybe there's footsteps that proves that, oh, this was the guy that committed the crime. And now moving on to clues, okay? Clues are a fact or is a fact or object that helps solve the crime, okay? So for instance, you're going to see soon there's like little objects that you might find, something that helps you along the way to kind of solve the mystery of the crime. And the last element of mystery, which actually is probably the biggest, is crime, okay? And the crime is an action committed that is against the law or breaks the rules, okay? So, for instance, you're going to learn about somebody breaking a vase. That's not a crime, but it's definitely our problem that our detective needs to solve, okay? All right, so after watching the video, let's talk about a little bit about the elements of mystery, especially because you just learned about them. Who is the detective? What's the name of the detective? Evan, okay, so Evan is the cute little kid detective. Next question, who is the victim? Now this one is a little harder because she doesn't feel like a victim at the end, but in categorizing it, the mom was the victim, okay? She came to the detective and said, oh my gosh, my vase was broken, okay? So she is the beginning victim, okay? The victim, unless you want to say the vase was, but yes, the mom was the victim. And the next question is, who are the suspects? Well, the funny thing is, everybody is a suspect, even Evan, okay? So the dad, Jillian, the invisible friend Wallace, Evan, and mom were all suspect. That means that he could accuse them all of committing the crime of breaking the vase. All right, and now, who are the witnesses? This one is a little bit harder because it's not like the witnesses came to, like the mom was the victim who, you know, oh my goodness, my vase is broken. But the witnesses probably most likely were Dad and Jillian, okay? Because one, Dad said he was breakdancing and he ended up leaving his shoes when he heard a noise, heard somebody coming. He didn't want to get found. Okay, so that's one thing. He witnessed somebody else coming. Then Jillian said she heard a loud bang. She grabbed her carrots and ran off. Okay, so she heard the bang. Okay, so two things that they witnessed. The next one, who had an alibi? Okay, and kind of, you could say Dad or Jillian, but the most solid alibi was the invisible friend Wallace, okay, because he was on vacation in Hawaii. So there's absolutely no way the invisible friend could be guilty. Another question, was there a red herring? Okay, the red herring is kind of a little hard to understand, but the mom who reported the crime, it makes you assume that she's not guilty, okay? Because she's like, somebody did this, I need answers. So it makes you assume that she wasn't at fault. Okay, and what was a clue? Okay, so this isn't all the clues. There were a couple other clues, but the biggest clue for me was the carrot, okay? The carrot was a clue that led to the detective to suspect his sister Jillian, okay? So it was a clue that he found, and he's like, oh, okay, and it moved him along. Another clue might have been the shoes, okay? So he saw his dad's shoes, and he's like, I know it was you, and inside the shoes was part of the vase. Dun, dun, dun. All right, another thing, what was some evidence? Okay, and some evidence was right when we first walked in, or she walked in, is Evan's mom was limping when she walked in, or walked up to the detective. And the last part of those elements is, what is the crime? Okay, and the crime is the breaking of the vase. Okay, and maybe wrapping it all up at the end, the crime of the mom as well, lying about breaking the vase. Okay, but overall, the case was about the broken vase. So the crime was the broken vase. All right, I hope you enjoyed our little mini lesson on the elements of mystery and you're ready to investigate on your own. What you're going to do next is watch the video on the next slide and then answer the questions for the case of the missing carrot online, okay? And that's under our assignments. It's been assigned, it's going to be due on Tuesday.